Sup, multiplier here, and different kind of tutorial today. Not a production specific one, but this time more how to get your tracks signed to record labels, because I guess that's what everyone wants. And as an quote unquote an artist, multiplier, I've had a fair amount signed on Beatport and various labels, and I also started my own label, Relentik Records. So I've seen a fair amount of demos and people trying to get tracks released through me. So I've kind of seen it from both sides, from the artist side and the record label side, and I've seen both successful and unsuccessful kind of submissions from both sides as well. So I kind of have enough experience to kind of help people out and kind of tell them how to do it, really. Quick little disclaimer, this is all for kind of independent labels, or at least smaller labels. We're not talking the major labels like Sony or EMI or any of those kind of big corporate things. Also, I can't really guarantee it's the same process for the really big dance music labels like, say, Mousetrap or Owser or people like that. I mean, it's probably the same kind of process, but basically take everything I've said now and then just kind of roll the dice a bit more. And yeah, it's a similar process to those bigger labels, but I mean, when it comes to things like Owsler, Skrillex label, for example, you can send a demo to them, but unless it's absolutely mind-blowing, they're not really going to consider it that properly. I mean, at that level, a lot of the stuff they release is just simply other producer friends of theirs send them tracks. So it's a different process right at the top end of things and right at the extreme ends of the market. But this kind of applies with the majority of kind of smaller and independent dance music labels, which is what most of you release on, to be honest. So yep, it's all relevant. Yep, let's get going. How do you do it? Fundamentally, pretty much all labels will have a demos or submissions email or a SoundCloud Dropbox. So if it's a SoundCloud Dropbox, you submit your demo to them through that, and if it's an email, you send them a track. Fundamentally, that's pretty much how it works. You don't send them emails to their general email address saying, hey, I got this track, you want to get it signed? Because it's just then they have to forward it to a different email box, and it's a lot simpler to send it where they're expecting to, at their demos or submissions email address. You can do it the other one, but it's a bit like if you're applying for a job, you don't apply to the standard company email, you apply to the HR email or wherever. I mean, there are record labels, but they are businesses as well. Treat you sending off your track the same way you would applying for a job. It's the same kind of process. I mean, I know it is just you making noises on the internet, but same kind of thing. You want to be kind of professional and don't cause a hassle for the guy at the other end. It's not going to do you any favors. So yeah, send it to the right place. And most people will listen, to be honest. Despite what I may say later, pretty much every demo you send will get listened to, even if it's only for 5 or 10 seconds, because every label out there wants the next Skrillex, and it may take them a month to listen to it, but they will listen to your demo. They almost certainly won't get back to you. It's not a personal thing, it's just the case that if a label doesn't like your track, it's a lot more standard for them just to ignore it than it is for them to email you back. Now, it is okay, you are allowed to kind of email them back like a month or two later saying, did you get my track? Do you have any advice and stuff? They may respond, they may not. It depends on the label, depends on the person, depends what mood they're in. Me personally, if you ask me directly, I may give you advice, but it's the sort of thing, a lot of the time, there's no real, you didn't necessarily do something wrong if you sent a demo that wasn't successful. It just wasn't what they were looking for, or it just didn't resonate with them. It didn't have that kind of magical bit of inspiration for the guy listening to it. And that doesn't mean your track's bad, it just means it wasn't the right fit. And that's, yeah, nothing you can do about that. So as far as general tips for sending demos, first of all, one of the things I see so often, and I've got to get this in early, 4 minutes in, I still count as early in my videos, is don't put self-defeating comments next to your track submission. So if it's an email and you put a little bit of, I mean, obviously if you send an email, don't just send the demo and then don't put any text. Just say, here's my track, let me know if you like it. It could be as simple as that, but just put a little comment. It's like a cover letter for a job, but obviously you don't need to do it as formally as a cover letter. But yeah, don't put self-defeating comments. If you ever send a track to a label and say, this is my first dubstep track, it's not that good, but you might like it, then they almost certainly won't listen to it. It's only when you put self-defeating comments will they virtually never listen to it. I mean, personally, if someone sends me a track and they say something like, I don't know, hi, this is my track, it's not quite finished yet, and my newer stuff's a lot better, but you might like it, I'm not going to listen to your track, because you're basically telling me it's no good. To give, like, I talk about High Ranking a lot, but that's only because I saw an interview with him recently. He said, similarly, if you're like at a shop, you don't sell stuff by just like leaving it around and then put a sign up saying it's a bit shit, but you might like it. You mean, even if the track is a bit shit, even if it is your first dubstep track, or even if you don't like it, it doesn't do you any favors to tell the person listening that, because it's a fundamental thing, not just with demos and record labels, but in pretty much life in general. If people's impressions of what something is affects how they experience it. So if you, like, if there was like this new unreleased track from Skrillex and then I sent it to you and you thought it was a Skrillex track, you would almost certainly think it's better than if I sent you a track and I said my friend just started producing, let me know what you think of his track. People's impressions shape their opinion, and you need to use that to your advantage, and don't use it as your disadvantage when you send a label a track. Just send them a track, even if you think it's shit and you just want to kind of roll the dice and hope for the best, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. Don't do self-defeating comments. It's stupid. It seems really obvious to me, but I see so many people sending me shit like that. And also on that same point, don't send work in progresses ever to a record label. They don't care, honestly. I mean, absolute best case, if you send a record label a work in progress and it's amazing, and for some reason it really clicks with them and it resonates and they just absolutely love it, they're still not going to commit until you send their final version. Even if they're just not going to commit until they get the final version, because they can't. So wait till you got the final version and then send it to the labels. Now, work in progress it's kind of, might be a personal thing of mine, but I can't be the only one. Just don't send them around. Don't put work in progresses on SoundCloud for public viewing, for example. I think the only time you can really put work in progresses up is if, say, you've got like a producing friend that you're quite close to, and you've been working on something and you want to get his feedback, or you want to ask him about something. Throw it up on SoundCloud, keep it as private, and then you can just send your friend the link, show him your work in progress, and then don't just blanket put up work in progresses and then think, because I think what people do is they put up work in progresses and they think that they have such a high opinion of that work in progress that they think other people are going to listen to it and kind of lose their mind and then like almost wait for the finished version. But I tell you what, that virtually never happens. You're not Skrillex, or if you are Skrillex, I guess you can do that kind of shit, but yeah, just don't put up work in progresses on SoundCloud for public, because no one cares. It just makes you look bad. And don't ever send them to record labels. Wait till you got the finished track. Sounds a bit harsh, but I mean, you got to give yourself the best chance, right? If I put up all the little random loops and shit I made, or if I started a track and made a cool little noise, if I put all that up, my SoundCloud would be just a big mess and it'd be horrible and it would look shit, even shitter than it is now. It looks pretty good right now. But yeah, you know what I mean. Give yourself the best chance. Don't send in work in progresses. And I've rambled on a lot about this, but it seems to be the biggest problem I get when I get people sending me shit is they'll say it's not finished, or they'll say it's not mixed, or it's not mastered, and it's just like, don't tell me that. That's not. It's just making me think the track's worse before I even listen to it. And if I do even listen to it out of curiosity, which I might not if you tell me it's shit before I listen, it's just not going to help you. So if you haven't professionally mixed it, it doesn't matter, just mix it the best you can. If you haven't mastered it professionally, master it yourself. You can master it quickly and easily. I mean, it won't be an amazing master, but you can do it well enough. You can do that yourself. It's the sort of thing, even if the track isn't perfect, like, get it as perfect as you can, send it to the label, and if the label thinks it needs more, like a little bit of tweaking, like maybe the mix needs working or needs a better master, they'll do that, and that's fine. But that's kind of the record label's decision, and chances are it might be right as it is. So just, yeah, put a neutral statement, or yeah, don't talk yourself up massively either. Just do a relatively neutral statement, just sort of thing like, here's my track. Maybe if it's a dubstep track, say it's a dubstep track, or if there's a short little bit you can say about the track to kind of motivate them listening to it, do that. And then just let me know if you're interested. Don't hassle them, but it's perfectly acceptable to like chase up a demo a few weeks or a month afterwards, which is about the right length of time. Don't hassle them the next day, because it's the sort of thing, especially if there's only a few guys at the label, they won't listen to all the demos as they come in normally, because basically you don't want to listen to demos when you're not in the mood. Otherwise it's pointless, because it's like, you must know, even your favourite tracks, if you're not in the mood to listen to them, you're not going to like them, so you have to wait till you're in the right mood, and it may take a week for someone at the label to kind of be in the right mood to kind of go through all the demos and listen to them all and decide what to do. So give it a bit of time, but then politely chase up. So yeah, also on that note, kind of don't be overly formal, but at least be kind of semi-professional, and at least make sure it's kind of spelt correctly and you're not kind of just talking too much shit and too much like a 12-year-old forum kid, because a label is much more likely to want to work with someone who comes across like professional, I guess, with the right word, than someone who's just looks like 12-year-old forum kid who's just unprofessional, basically. It's just like getting a job. Obviously it's not as serious and it's not quite as formal, but I mean, same principle. You want to give yourself the best chance, and a neutral semi-professional message is only going to do you favors, really. So yeah, kind of just do it sensibly, really. It sounds obvious to me, right? But I see so many people just sending the random shit off just all over the place. And also, don't just send a demo to a label without a note, because it's the sort of thing, basically the labels know what you're doing when you do that. When you just send a track to a label without any note on it, you're sending it to everyone. Like, you just can't be bothered to write a note. You're just sending it to everyone, and you're hoping that someone listens to your track and just their mind gets blown. And it's just, it doesn't take long to write a note. I mean, even if you want to send it to 30 labels, and to be honest, I pretty recommend you send it to a fuckload of labels, give yourself the best chance. Just have, like, say, a standard 3-line email, which is just super simple. This is my track, let me know if you're interested, that kind of shit. And then like copy that into every email, and then just maybe change like the odd word, like hi, whatever your name is, change that, whatever the name is. Or if in the little bit of email you say like, I think my track would be a great fit for ... Circus Records or whatever, just change that. It doesn't take long to change a word. Just copy and paste that and change the word. It makes it look a lot more personal. I mean, it seems standard stuff. So do take it kind of seriously. I mean, don't take it over seriously. I mean, it's not as formal as like a big corporate job, I guess. But I mean, record labels are businesses, and they do have to deal with a lot of shit. So just give yourself the best chance possible. Otherwise, you're screwing yourself. Also, I guess that's a few tips on like how to present your track. Also, try and send it to the right labels. Don't send aggressive dubstep rager to a deep house label. I mean, the deep house label, they're probably just going to listen to it, if they do listen to it, and they're going to go, fuck it, after about 10 seconds max, because they know it's not right pretty quickly. And it doesn't help you. It doesn't necessarily not help you, because I guess if it's a deep house label and you're making aggressive dubstep, you're never going to get anything signed with them. So if you make a bad impression, it's not the end of the world. But just it's waste of everyone's time if you send it to labels that aren't right. So at least know what you're sending it to. Don't just blanket email the entire music world. Also, when it comes to sending demos, try and send the whole thing. Don't send like 30-second or 45-second teasers. I think the problem with this is the implication, rightly or wrongly, is that if you put up like a 45-second teaser and send it to a label, you're basically saying that this 45 seconds is so unbelievable that this is all I need to convince you to sign the track up. It just comes across as arrogance, and to be honest, it's probably not. It's not that amazing. It's probably really good, but you're not. If your track's that good that it's gonna take over the Beatport charts as soon as someone listens, and it's obviously going to pick it up. You're not going to have any problems signing your tracks, and you're not even listening to this anyway. So just send the whole track, send it finished. As I said before, don't send half finished shit. If it's obviously, look at the label site. A lot of labels like demand streaming links. A lot of others say attach your what will be MP3s to emails. A lot of others say drop it in the SoundCloud Dropbox. Make sure you give the track to them in the way they are most expecting it. Now, you can do it another way. They'd probably still listen if you sent it the wrong way, but again, it's like everything else. Give yourself the best chance. Don't make it hard for them for no reason, for the sake of you spending 4 minutes looking on their website. It's just lazy. You spend all this time crafting a track, and then you can't be bothered to go on a website and see how they'd most prefer their track being sent to them. It's just, do it right. On that note, never send an MP3 less than 320k. It's just, again, just giving yourself a bad chance. They might still like it, but I mean, 320k MP3s still fit on email, so yeah, do that. You won't be able to send them WAVs. They probably won't want WAVs just because they're so big. But again, go on the website. Some labels do want full quality WAVs as demos, so not many actually. Pretty much all of them want 320k MP3. But yeah, it's the sort of thing. If they like the track, then they'll ask for the WAVs off you, or like the unmastered version. So you'll figure out the details later. Basically, your demo is you convincing them that they want the track. After that, they'll ask for the kind of the raw files. That's generally how it works. What else can I say really? 16 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I guess you want to try and make yourself at least semi-marketable. I mean, if you, as cool as experimental shit are, or if your track is super future, I mean, it may be cool, but labels have to sell shit at the end of the day. Especially like dance music tracks. Your track really needs to be in a DJ friendly format as far as the like phrasing and the bar structure. Like, it's got to be 16 bars of intro or 32 bars of intro, and then it's all got to come every 16 bars, all the big changes, all that kind of stuff. Basically, just do it. It makes this, you're not selling out to like, keep your creative shit inside a structure basically. I mean, you can get creative with phrase structure on like a long album maybe for like the odd track, but if you're just sending a standard dance music track, stick it in a proper structure just so DJs can play it, so DJs buy it, and then the labels will release it because they think DJs are more likely to buy it. It's basically, you can't get around the fact that you need a DJ friendly track if you want to sell large numbers of a track, unless you're like Pendulum or whatever. But you know what I mean, for pretty much everyone else it needs to be at least semi DJ friendly, if not really DJ friendly. And it's not, don't whine about you losing your creative freedom by sticking it in this kind of pretty standardized DJ structure, because there's infinitely much room for you to get creative inside that structure, and it just makes sure DJs can play it, because DJs are lazy fucks and they're only going to play shit that's easy for them because they're lazy. Yeah, you can't get around that. It's the way it is. Stick it in a nice structure. Similarly, you've got to try and find the line between sounding like everyone else and then doing something different, which is that really hard line to balance on really. You can go on Beatport. A lot of the top Beatport tracks have a similar sort of sound, especially within any particular genre. You've got, if you want to hit that like top 10 on Beatport, you've got to be sounding similar. There's no getting around it. Like sonically, it's got to be similar loudness, it's got to be similar sonically as far as width, and just in general, you know what I mean when it comes to like, it's got a sound. You call it a pro sound, you call it whatever you want, you call it a Beatport sound, but it's got to have that finished, that same sort of similar sound to everyone else. But at the same time, it's got to be different enough for people who want to buy your shit over their shit. So you've got to find that right balance, and that's the difficult bit fundamentally. Anyone can kind of, with a few years production experience, can kind of reproduce a Beatport track, but then they always end up one step behind the Beatport track because they're not the track, they're just a copy of it. So unless they're doing something original, then yeah, cool. Wow, 20 minutes, that's long. What else can I say? I should have probably written a load of shit down. I might do a proper like blog post type thing on this one day. What else can I think of? yeah, if you have any questions, I'm normally pretty good at responding to YouTube comments, so feel free to respond on YouTube, or send a reply if I've missed something important, because I probably have. Like, it's the sort of thing, because I spend my whole life in it, I kind of take shit for granted. So if I've forgotten to do something, then yeah, let me know. Forgotten to explain something, and if they come up with any more tips, I'll tell you, of course. But yeah, I guess I should tell you where my label wants submissions. If you just go on the website, there's an email, info@relentik.com. That's info@relentik.com. Actually, that's the wrong email. Send it to, but I make mistakes in my videos. Send it to demos@relentik.com or submissions@relentik.com. Both of them work. Although demos is easier to spell, so just demos@relentik.com. Yeah, and of course, if you want to send me a demo, and like, for example, if you're not sure what sort of little message to put with your track demo, feel free to just hit me up a demo at demos@relentik.com, and then just at the top of the email say, can you see if this track submission is okay, and I'll give you some feedback, because I'm nice like that. And yeah, my name's Multiplier. Check out all my links and shit below, my label. Loads of cool shit coming out in a few weeks. Then it's pretty heavy release schedule for like half a year, pretty much, like lots and lots of shit coming out. First 4 releases in January, completely locked down, and just in the process of like locking down the February ones. But there's so much shit in the pipeline, which I could tell you about. It's gonna be awesome though. And yeah, also in case you've forgotten, us at Relentik do a mastering service for £10 a track. So yeah, details on the website. Sweet, have fun sending shit off. I've been Multiplier. Yeah, 21 minutes 59 seconds.